Would you rather be stuck on an elevator with Raquel or Tom Sandoval?
Oh, wow.
What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Thursday or
Friday. Maybe you're waiting. You're still
Wednesday
listening Friday.
night. I don't know what time it is.
We have talked so much this week. It's insane. We
Yes.
normally don't do so many days in a row.
Yeah, this
but
has
we
been
are clocking some days in a row.
3 days in a row. We decided to release our Friday episode early because we had the one and only Andy Cohen come in today to, talk all things, the Daddy Diaries, Vanderpump, Real Houses of New Jersey. We covered it all. And we said, we can't wait to put this out on Friday. We need to drop this right after Vanderpump Rules finale, plus Ariana on Watch What Happens Live. And we need to get this episode out. So we are going to be talking about the Vanderpump finale and
which we've watched. We got it early, but you're listening to this. You've all seen Ariana on Watch What Happens Live. We haven't.
No, but we have
seen the finale. Whew.
And we're going to talk all about that. We'll have a couple other things we'll mention. Yep. But the most important thing is the Vanderpump finale, which if you are listening to this right at midnight, you are hot off the press of watching this and probably just as sickened and disgusted as everybody else. I did not know that we were going to end up hating them and being more disgusted by them than we already did. And we are. It's actually impossible not to be, because this was jarring.
Yeah, we're going to break it down fully. I will say, every time the cast members would post, you're not going to believe it. They'd say, when you see this episode, oh my God. It's like, oh my God, how much more crazy could it get? But it really did. And I regret it because I didn't see it until after Andy was here. But the Post shared an article that was like, Vanderpump Rules staged scandal. It was basically people now, a lot of podcasters are throwing out there that they think this whole thing was staged. I will never be the one to believe that. I will never buy into those conspiracies. I just cannot get that deep into it because this shit was so crazy. And this episode was so well produced. But is there anything else we want to say before we jump into the full Vanderpump breakdown?
No, I think we'll jump right into it. I would never believe anything like this was staged because I don't know why people will put themselves in the position to be
right, exactly.
Absolutely
why would you voluntarily ruin your life?
The worst people on earth.
Rhea and I are a little dressed up today. We put on some nice outfits. We came to work. We got our jeans. We got our cute little kitten heels. Mm-hmm. We are dressed thanks to Express. Yes. Both of our outfits fully Express. Express has confidence-boosting styles. They're designed for real-life versatility in every occasion, 24/7 comfort, premium quality and details. And this is the perfect, I think, transition, spring into summer. The weather's getting warm, but, sometimes when you get to work, it's still a little chilly. It might be a little chilly in the office. So, Rhea, what are you wearing?
I have some jeans, some low-rise jeans that I love because I have talked about this before. I have a huge problem finding jeans that fit me, and these do fit.
They fit and they look fabulous.
I'm a big fan of these jeans. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't even know if you can see me. And then I have little heels on that I love that, give me some height with my jeans that drag on the floor, obviously, because I'm short. But then the heels, the kitten heels, they give me some height. And then I just have a regular white t-shirt on. And I'm a little chilly, so I got a little cardigan to match with it.
Absolutely
it's a perfect
beautiful
little spring outfit.
Exactly. I went with jeans as well. I've got a little mid-rise boyfriend wash. We can also tag these two. It'll be easy for us to do on Instagram and whatnot. But then I also have a little blazer bodysuit combo. They're body contour bodysuits. Fantastic. They have a bunch of different shapes.
And tank tops. I got a body contour tank top that I love.
They're really comfortable. The smoothing and sculpting collection of bodysuits and tops. They're perfect to layer, or if it gets warm, you can take it off. And then this is a lovely linen oversized blazer, which I think is great. Express also has awesome dresses. Mm-hmm. I'm always looking at dresses for
dress. I'm
wedding
so excited
season.
To wear.
Yes, such cute dresses, maxi dresses, vacation dresses, holiday stuff. My New York outfit, the sparkly blazer and pants, that was from Express. So Express is always running amazing sales, so I'm excited that we also have the code CHICKS for 10% off that you can use in addition to the deals Express already has. So head to Express for your summer wardrobe online or in-store, and make sure you use our code CHICKS for 10% off all the amazing deals that Express already has.
So the episode starts off and, we get the quick little interviews of Ariana, Tom saying, are you ready?
Great editing, by the way.
They're not ready. And then Sheena basically saying what happened that day where they were here. They were in our studio, recorded with us, left, went to watch What Happens Live. And Raquel picked Sandoval over Schwartz in the little game. And Ariana called Raquel, and Raquel went up to Sheena, and Sheena said it like this. She said, she just came up to me and goes, yeah, so me and Sandoval have been having an affair for 7 months. And I could see, after seeing this episode, I can now see how she said it like that, because there is no remorse. There is zero remorse coming from Raquel and Tom. Tom showed more remorse to everybody else besides Ariana, but the initial conversation we see between Ariana and Tom was despicable. Ariana ate him up.
Yeah.
She had like everything ready to say back to him. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, I lost my mojo. And she goes, oh, so you fucked my best friend. Like, she just, and everything she said back to him was so perfect, because he is such a piece of shit and just couldn't apologize to her and put it all on her and made it seem like, oh, well, you're dumb for not picking up on it. Like, I couldn't believe the conversation that was had between Ariana and Sandoval.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of Sandoval repeating himself. We've heard Sandoval kind of go on this path of like, well, we were so unhappy and we weren't having sex and like you knew that like we weren't in a good place. Like, really felt like putting a lot on Ariana, which she said. She was like, you're really like blaming me for that? Like, what are you doing? And he definitely got a little emotional, but it wasn't really that crazy. Like, I couldn't tell if he was just so nervous to be having that conversation with Ariana right then, or what was going on, because that conversation compared to when he walked into Schwartz's apartment and just like collapsed in his arms and was like, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And honestly, Schwartz too, like, I'm so done with Schwartz, because even Schwartz's like first thing was like, well, maybe you could like put out a statement about like the
Yelp
business.
reviews. We were going down to 1 star. It's like, why is that the initial thought right now?
I know.
And yes, I mean, Schwartz is an idiot.
Which is what he did, and he did do that.
Yes,
Sandoval did do that.
They're both losers. Like, they have not grown in their life at all. They are just as immature as when they started the show. They have had no growth compared to, I think, like Ariana has grown. Like, I think other people have grown on the show, and they have zero growth whatsoever. Tom also showed more remorse to Lisa Vanderpump when he walked in and he completely broke down in her house and he's up against the window. And it's just like, really the most shocking besides Tom just not being sorry to Ariana at all. And it's like, you've lived with this person, have dated this person for 10 years and this is going to be, and you go, we've had some good times. Like, what are you saying right now? I genuinely don't know how she was so composed, Ariana, because she really was, and was really great with her words towards him, because I think she really hit those points. But I think the most shocking thing of the episode was watching Raquel and Tom Sandoval. First of all, Sandoval walks in her apartment. The dog knows him very well. The dog is jumping up and down, very happy to see him there. And they are having such an uncomfortable conversation, and Raquel is smiling the whole time, and he says,
I thought they were gonna start making out.
Yeah, and they're talking about,
like, we can't kiss, not with the cameras.
I know, we can't do it. And then they're talking about the families, and
oh god,
and Tom says they love you, and Raquel goes, I love you too, and Tom's like, oh no, I said they love you, but like I love you. I was like, what is happening? So and then when he called her Ariana, I was like, oh my god, and she was just like, you just called me Ariana. I'm like, how is she? Genuinely, there's something wrong with the two of them. There has to be something wrong with them, because there is no way that you could just sit there and act like that.
She is like,
that's supposed to be her
like
best friend.
Some lifeless eyes situations going on with her, like behind the eyes, it's like, what's What's going on?
Supposed to be her best friend.
Yeah.
Ariana has called her her best friend multiple times. How are you just sitting there smiling?
You know what's crazy is that obviously they filmed that scene with Tom and Raquel. And then afterwards they were like, after we filmed this scene, Raquel turned off her phone, disappeared. We didn't hear from her. Like there was no, of course we'll get it in the reunion, but there was no, and maybe they were saving it for the reunion, but no like initial conversation between Ariana and Raquel. Like I thought maybe we would see them talk, but I'm guessing she filmed that scene and then maybe was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know if she even has the capacity to think back and be like, what did I just do? But the way she was speaking to him and the way they both were kind of like, damn, shit happens.
They were laughing. Like it was crazy. Yeah. Like, you know, none of it excuses it at all.
Such a friend.
But I think that if they were like
such a deep friendship, Sandoval, such a good friend.
Right. Like clearly you were just horny, Sandoval. Like that's what happened. You were horny and you felt something which was, I don't know, like a boner and you're like mistaking it because
Ariana said it to him too, like she was getting that like satisfaction of like this girl fangirling over him.
Right. And Ariana was like, I've been with you through the beginning. Like you just want somebody. And he's like, it's not because of that, but I truly believe it is attention. Because of that. Because of
solely attention.
And not that anybody would ever be on their side because what they did is just awful. But if they like cried their eyes out and they were like, I'm so sorry. Like I think more people would be like, okay, they clearly feel bad. They fucked up. But at least like, there's no at least, but people would be like, they're sobbing and they're in a bad... Them just laughing while they're hanging out was actually insanity. Like, I could not grasp. And you know what? I felt it watching last week's episode when Raquel was talking to Katie's mom. And I was like, that is so fucking disrespectful to talk to somebody's mom the way she did. And I was like, oh no. I was like, it's going to be as bad as we think. This episode is going to be worse than you could imagine, I think. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Seriously, the conversation between the two of them was concerning. Like, it genuinely was worrisome.
I do kind of think that in the moment of them filming that conversation that they felt like they were really gonna try to be together, you know, because I do think like the way they framed Raquel kind of disappeared, whatever, what the discussions, they maybe weren't really talking. And then we know from interviews that they done that it was like, felt kind of weird. Like it was like, oh, at first they were trying to sell the story of like they love each other and this is meant to be kind of thing. And then it kind of turned into like, oh, now we're taking our own space and time. And so I feel like in that moment in their minds, it was like, all right, well, we're going to talk and act like this is the beginning steps of where our relationship could go. And so it felt like kind of lovey and like not remorseful. And then maybe they were like, Matt's was the wrong plan.
Yeah, and then maybe Sandoval was like, oh, actually, I've cheated on Ariana before, and maybe I just, you know, I'm this person. Like, I think Sandoval just is that person.
Yeah.
And finding out that he had cheated on Ariana before and Ariana, like, knows these things, I just feel like
he's not a child.
You know, they clearly should have ended their relationship way sooner. It's unfortunate it had to end this way.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was just like shocking and jarring to watch these two people. That was the most, like, I think we expected everything else. I mean, the Sheena and Raquel stuff. Sheena said she shoved Raquel and Raquel said she punched her. And when they were zooming in on Raquel's cut on her face, I was like, is that fake? Like, genuinely, I was like,
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if you know, she cut her with a fingernail, but you know.
I was like, what the hell? I think that Ariana is going to end up in such a better place. And I think that, you know, Kristen came in and they did a whole little ritual.
I was quite happy about Dodie's return. Yeah. I do love her.
Yeah.
I think
it was reminiscent.
I know she is very like polarizing and people either love her or hate her, but to have that moment, like it was the only time I actually had a little bit of a laugh during the episode because it was really serious stuff. And that moment where like they were hugging and they were like, oh, our ex-boyfriends.
Yeah.
Like, was the only time I was like, oh, at least they can like kind of laugh about it. And
it seemed like Ariana was able to make some jokes about things, which even in the darkest of times, sometimes a joke just hits. Where I felt bad where it was like Kristen was like, write something down you want to have and stuff you want to get rid of, stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. And Ariana wrote down she wants true self-love. And I think that's something we saw her struggle with throughout the entirety of Vanderpump Rules. And you know what? Sometimes if you get rid of a bad relationship and you come to yourself, and maybe this will actually really help Ariana. I think that Sandoval was hindering her, and I think that I thought she was glowing. Like, as sad as she, may have been, like I was like
that gold dress she wore out with the girls.
I was like
when she was talking to Schwartz.
One day without this man and you're glowing. Like I think she's gonna be so much better off. We had the wonderful Stallone girls on our show last week, Sistine and Sophia. And right now, if you want to see more of them, you could watch them on The Family Stallone on Paramount Plus. You all know Sylvester Stallone. He's one of the world's biggest stars. And now you'll see him like you've never seen him before, with his family, 3 daughters, his wife, on a reality show on Paramount Plus. You'll see him as a family man, the Family Stallone. Get your seat at the table to one of Hollywood's most incredible families and find out why there's truly no place like Stallone. The Family Stallone is now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. Go to ParamountPlus.com and use code Stallone to try 1 month free. Terms do apply. Once again, go to ParamountPlus.com and use code Stallone to try 1 month free. Terms do apply. Listen, James Kennedy, I can't help but just
he's
love
the best
on the show.
He's
I
just
just can't get enough of James Kennedy.
That
when
phone
he said,
call.
"Oh, do you love Sandoval's 40-year-old cocky cock?" I lost it. I was like, "This man is. We need him on the show forever." Yes, James has his faults, but you just need his comedic relief. You need it, and he. Tom Sandoval's 40-year-old.
And then he was like crying, like he goes from emotions because things really do get to him. He was joking, but then like in his interview, he was legit crying about his friendship with Tom Sandoval. So clearly they all feel mistreated. And when you have a friend lie to you like that, it really does fuck you up. And like what you were saying with Ariana being so much better off now, I do feel like when Sandoval was on Howie Mandel and was talking about like their brand and all these things, like that they're like so connected, that I'm sure she always felt like they came in a pair, and now they just so don't need to be a pair because everyone will champion her on her own so much more without him, which is just like it's just so true. It just does not need to. But yeah, no, that James Kennedy moment was great. I really felt bad for Sheena. Like there's one, Sheena was Raquel's biggest advocate, so like she feels totally mistreated. They were really truly, she's like, I felt like her older sister, gave her a place to live, and then she fucking serves me papers, like, and then she talked about she was so angry. And her conversation with Sandoval was also really sad. They've been friends for a really long time. And she was like, she kind of broke up with him too. It was like, we can't really be friends. There was such a hard line drawn where Ariana was like, I will not have any mutual friends with him. So like even with Schwartz, like saying goodbye, she was like, bye Schwartz.
Yeah, she was like, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, if you're going to be friends with him, you can't be friends with me.
Yeah. Now, this was all like immediately after everything broke. So I think everyone's ready for the reunion now. Like, we need to see all these people talk it out, hash it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And it was crazy. I mean, we saw this in the preview that had been posted before the episode, but everyone was freaking out because Ariana said that night after Boys Night where they said it was a kiss. Well, they banged in the car, and then he didn't have his keys, and he had to call Ariana, let him into the house. Like, it's so sick.
He had to ring the doorbell.
Sick in the head.
He fucked her best friend and then rang the doorbell to go into the house, and she answered. Like, that is insane. It's insanity. I cannot wait to watch the reunion, and I think the finale was a lot for everybody to take in, and I'm sure if you're listening to this, you're still digesting it, because I think everybody is.
It really did live up to the hype. I know we were certainly worried when this all broke months ago when we were like, how are we going to wait this long to see these episodes? Like, is the hype going to die down? No, because the episodes have been so good and so insane and crazy to watch. And that's exactly how this finale was. Like, I really was jaw on the floor. Like, I want like a true psychologist, body language expert, like an expert in this kind of thing to watch that conversation with Raquel and Sandoval and break it down for me. Because it really felt so out of this world. I don't know. Raquel, apparently she's at a mental facility. I hope she is. Yeah.
Like, I really do. And I don't know how Tom is just going on performing right now. Like, I feel like he needs to work through things before he's on stage performing. Like, it's wild. Performing
and like singing Raquel's name, whether it's good or bad, you know,
right.
Like even just including her on anything is just like such a weird way of trying to capitalize on your own drama, failure. Like, I don't even know how to, it gives me the ick, everything about it. I hate.
Yeah.
So God, the reunion's going to be crazy.
It's going to be insane. So we have Andy Cohen on at the end of the episode, which we will talk more about Vanderpump, and we will talk about the reunion and Real Houses of New Jersey, Summer House. We go over all the little Bravo things.
Yeah, the New Jersey finale was wild also.
That was wild too. So we talk a little bit about that.
Get ready for that Friday energy. Build it up with the proper wild energy shots. It's clean all day energy. They use organic caffeine. It's just very delicious, and it's in shot form, long-lasting energy. It's brain fuel, reduced jitters, clean ingredients, which is just so great. So in order to keep your energy going, check out Proper Wild. It's no preservatives, no artificial sweeteners, no horrible chemicals, just a natural tasting energy shot with clean ingredients that work. So go to properwild.com/barstool to try Proper Wild for 30% off.
There's a couple other little things that happened. Khloe Kardashian is not with Tristan Thompson.
It doesn't seem to be that way. She commented on a fan account that was just very clearly trying to like set the story straight, because everybody saw Kim and North at the Lakers game. She had a sign that said Tristan Thompson. Tristan just lost his mom. It's been, they were very close. Khloe obviously is very supportive always. But this fan account posted a screenshot of a story from Dumois where somebody wrote in, Kim supporting Tristan at the Lakers game. What is going on? And Dumois wrote back, allegedly he's back with Coco, so maybe she's soft launching the idea so everyone is prepared and doesn't give Coco a hard time. Khloe commented and said, stop pushing this narrative. It's tiring, but I suppose you guys will continue the narrative you want regardless of what I say. So what's the point? It's exhausting, but I learned people will only understand to the level of their own perception. Most are stuck at believing the lies because it's the narrative they want to fuel. Have fun. Some things are just as simple as they seem. A family member supporting another family member, especially during a difficult time in life. Example, just so I support Scott and will forever support him. He's my brother. It's just not on an NBA stage. Sad new world. If there's no photos sad new world. If there's no photos, people think it really didn't happen. But yes, I see Scott often. Some things really are just as they are. She put it plain and simple. It's like she doesn't need to be with Tristan for her family to show Tristan some support. He is the father of her kids. That is their nieces and nephew, like niece and nephew. I'm sure they don't want the kids to have any terrible ideas about their cousin's father, right? So like North holding a sign for Tristan Thompson, like they're not breaking it down to North that he cheated
Uncle
on Aunt
Khloe a couple times,
cheating and blah blah blah. They're like, no, that's True's dad. Like, so when she breaks it down like that, it does make a lot of sense. I do feel like people always just kind of jump to the conclusion of like, and I've definitely done it, where it's like, oh, if they're showing him any support, that must be because Khloe lets them or like whatever. When maybe it's just not that complicated.
And maybe they're just friends and like they've accepted the fact that he did some shitty things to her, and they're going to be like, all right, but we could be friends, but we're not going to be together.
Yeah.
And
I hope that is the case.
They kind of like he is the father of the kid.
Yeah.
And they're hanging out, so kind of got to make it work.
Totally. I hope that is the case. And it kind of like does remind me a little bit of what the future could hold for them as far as like a comparison. I just have such Bravo on my brain of Dolores and Frank Catania, where it's like Frank was stepping out on Dolores like that, he was cheating, big time cheating. And that's why their marriage fell apart. But now they're, one big happy family. Frank's crying that Dolores is like got a new guy, the whole thing. But they're such a family unit, but they don't have to be together to have that.
Yeah, some people make it work.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's kind of the situation.
And
I like that she kind of threw a little Scott tidbit in there. Sometimes I do ask myself that, like, is anybody talking to Scott?
And I do like that Khloe does stand up for herself sometimes.
Yeah.
Like most of them stay quiet, but Khloe will pop in every once in a while and be like, this is what's going on. On top of that, a paparazzi car chase from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle that went on for like 2 hours. It's a confusing story.
It sounds really scary, obviously, for the obvious reason,
Yeah.
Like you hear that, and that's very scary. Everyone knows the Princess Diana story, that, his mother. So seeing this news this morning that they were involved in a, quote, near catastrophic car chase at the hands of a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi. A spokesperson for the couple said that last night the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Miss Raglan, that's Meghan Markle's mom, were involved in a near catastrophic car chase at the hands of a ring of highly aggressive paparazzi. This relentless pursuit lasting over 2 hours resulted in multiple near collisions involving other drivers on the road, pedestrians, and 2 NYPD officers. While being a public figure comes with a level of interest from the public, it should never come at the cost of anyone's safety. The spokesperson also said dissemination of these images, given the ways in which they were obtained, encourages a highly intrusive practice that is dangerous to all involved. So they were at an event in the city Tuesday night. This happened. Now, people are, of course, like looking at this in many ways. We posted this on Chicks in the Office, and I was was reading some of the comments. People were commenting like, "Sure, Jan, like, bet this," like really believing that this didn't happen, which is crazy. It's just crazy to me. My personal feeling on this, like, that's a crazy thing to make up. If you're Prince Harry, I don't think you have your people put out a statement like this unless you really did feel unsafe in the moment, because that is like the most triggering thing in the world for you.
Yeah, my question is like, what is the motive from the paparazzi, right? Like, what is a picture of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry just out right now doing? Like, people are like, a
lot of it
at the end of the day, like,
a lot
they
of it
exist. Everybody knows they're walking around.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of it, I do think, is tabloids from other places. Like, this may not be TMZ chasing them, but it may be someone that knows that they could sell this to some British publication that'll take these pictures, because I get it. Like, here in the hype here, it's like, we're like, okay, do you really care?
Like,
that
if
much?
I see a picture of them,
I still
I'm
think
scrolling
it's
past.
kind of a big deal. And then I do think people saw the term near catastrophic car chase. That phrase, like, car chase, makes it sound like a high speed swerving through traffic kind of event. So people are like, you're in New York City. What road are you on? Like, how is this happening? In my mind, I'm thinking like, these guys are probably tailing them. They're taking quick turns. They're in the city. They don't have to be driving fast for it's dangerous for there to be an accident. There are car accidents all the time in New York City from people that are driving extremely slow and just don't know how to drive.
Regular driving in the city is dangerous.
Yeah.
It's just a dangerous place to drive.
Exactly. And then the cab driver, taxi driver that picked them up put out a statement with the Washington Post. He said he drove them for a brief period during which it appeared they were pursued by other vehicles. He estimated that the entire journey lasted 10 minutes and said he got the impression from the group that they had been already pursued by paparazzi before entering his car. This happened at a police station. They changed cars. So I think this guy got like this a second half of the ride or whatever, last bit of it. I think they were being followed, went to the police station, then switched into a different car. Just sounds very stressful and scary, and I don't really like the downplaying of something like this because I just feel like it's not really a joking thing for them.
Especially with the past.
Like some things people look at, they're like, okay, they're making that up, like whatever. Certain stories about the royal family of Prince Harry, something like this doesn't feel like something
it would be a very random, weird story to make up.
Yeah.
Just doesn't feel like they could make up anything else. This one just feels like it actually happened.
And regardless, like if you're on the sidewalk and you see this go down and you're watching these cars, like in your mind you could be like, oh, that didn't look bad. But if you're in the car in the front, I'm sure that's really scary regardless. Like I said, I'm sure very triggering for him too. They've talked about this before. They've talked about this on their Hulu show and having it happen to them before. So clearly it's something that makes them very nervous. Kind of feel like we should probably respect that.
Yeah, people, I just don't know how those people, the paparazzi, go about their day and like feel good about themselves. Like
I know.
The point of chasing these people down.
I know.
That's their job. It's a bizarre job to have.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
All right, I think that wraps up. It's a heavy Bravo related podcast, but I think rightfully so. I think at this time, people are just like, give me all the Bravo I can consume.
I know. I feel like, once again, we were joking, but we were like, we haven't talked about what we've been watching, Weekly Watch Report, because we haven't been doing Friday episodes, but I honestly have not watched anything but Bravo stuff. Like in the last week, I had a wedding. I had all this stuff. Like I'm trying to think of all the stuff I did in the last week. I caught up on a couple episodes of Ted Lasso. That's it. Other than that, I've been solely Bravo.
Heavy Bravo related.
Massively.
We promise Weekly Watch Report will be back next week, but we had more
important. You have something you want to throw out there?
We had more important things to talk about.
He looks like he's dying to say something.
No, I didn't know that we weren't doing Weekly Watch Report. But
we were going to, and then we last minute decided to do a Thursday drop. I just feel
like Andy Cohen.
Yeah,
it takes precedent over Weekly Watch
Report. It was certainly the right call.
The people need. No, I'm just kidding.
And honestly, like I'm saying, I've watched nothing but Bravo. Yeah. Truly.
I started Silo.
We're not doing Weekly Watch Report.
No, I was just gonna say
but I said he clearly wants to. He wants to include some things he watched. You can say.
I wanted to tell you guys.
I'm not gonna. You
No,
started watching Silo. That's great. Do you like it?
It's pretty good, but I don't want to get too into it.
Well, we can't really discuss it with you anyway because we haven't watched it. So there wouldn't be much for us really to say.
I do have one more thing I could throw out there. I am quite upset about Jeremy Allen White and Addison Tinlin getting a divorce.
Yeah.
Why?
I know.
Why do these things happen?
I know.
These two have been together since I was in like 6th grade.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I know, and then I saw that there were maybe some like murky timelines.
I'm upset because I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
She was in my acting class, and it was like, whoa, like, oh my God, this girl's in Californication.
I was so sad posting on Mother's Day.
Yeah, and she like made this whole post about how she's a co-parent, how she didn't see her life going as a co-parent. And I always say I'm 95% sure he was in my class week to week, but I cannot confirm that 5%. He had darker hair, and I just like always try to find pictures of him with darker hair. But there was a man who named Jeremy who looked exactly like him, who had his exact demeanor, and I was very
sounds like him.
I was very impressed with him week to week. And then she was him, and then they met like through. Yeah. So I'm like, it has to be him. But I always have this fight in my head all the time if it was him or not. But anyways, besides the point, I was upset about that split. That was sad. I remember I saw that one too. That I was like, that sucks.
Yep.
All right.
Why is it always when these guys like
pop
hit
off.
It big? You know?
Like, oh, great. I feel like the bear.
The timing is always very sus to me.
It's always
when it comes to these relationships.
Oh, he won an award and now they're divorced.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know. There's something there where it's just like these guys, they get a little taste of the big time. Something happens.
Yeah, they get a big head.
Yep.
Tom Sandoval. He got
Sandoval
cover band, and
Ariana was supporting him when he was in the skinny jeans and the Converse. I love. She was like, "You got a little bit of money. Opened a bar."
She ate him up. She really did.
She did.
All right,
let's talk to Andy Cohen.
It's a little mix of both. It's golf. It's not golf. It's Topgolf. Topgolf has a bunch of stuff that makes Topgolf. There's clubs, balls, tees, turf, and even a ball picker-upper cart thing, which, you know, I'm not a big golfer, but I'll do Topgolf. They also have a whole bunch of stuff that's not golf: loud music, giant targets in their fairway, giant TVs, and a handcrafted food and beverage menu that makes Topgolf an entire experience. They have one on Long Island that I have been to before. Fran's been to Topgolf before. Topgolf is just a fun little outing. You can go with your friends, you can go with your family. It's just a fun thing to do. And they do this thing on Tuesday where all gameplay is half price, giving players more reason to come play around. The Topgolf experience has a vibe around it. It's all about playing and having fun, food, a little beverage, whatever you're into, and maybe a little bit of golf. It's golf. It's not golf. It is Topgolf. Pro tip: download the app and book ahead of time to come play around on Half Price Tuesday or any other day. All right, everyone, we are here with a very special guest. We are joined by somebody we have been watching in our homes for a very long time, the best in the game, Andy Cohen.
Hey, ladies. Hey, chicks.
Hey, Andy.
We are so excited that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
I'm so excited to be here.
Like I said, we've said it a million times, but we'll keep saying it. You know, we consume so much. We love Bravo. We watch your shows. We watch What Happens Live. We love everything that you do. You have your new book out, which we've read and loved.
Thank you for reading it.
Everything
the
we
Daddy
just
Diaries.
yes,
right
love
here.
consuming.
Appreciate it.
Well, it's just even on what you could consider the slower days.
Yes.
It's fascinating. I think
you.
like, you know, you're like just the king of the West Village, and there's certain restaurants you throw in here that I'm like, he loves his like 5 or 6 spots.
I know. I'm a creature of habit. And so I'm in the Mirandi via Corona.
Yes.
You know,
All the great
Corner
spots
Bistro.
that we can't get reservations to because you're taking them all.
Sorry about that. Thank you. The book is a year in my life, starting the day after I put Mayor de Blasio on blast on New Year's Eve with Anderson Cooper. And it really takes you behind the scenes of Watch What Happens Live and everything going on with the Bravo. And people ask me all the time, you know, what are your, interactions with housewives and when do they text you? And so this is really showing you what it is, what happens. And then the overlay is my time as a dad.
Yeah.
So I've written 2 diaries before that are really name droppy also and fun and funny. And that's what this is too, but with the 2 kids and a single dad thrown in.
Yeah, I think you live such a fascinating life, and I think other people do as well, obviously. But you don't know the ins and outs every day. Obviously, we see the posts on Dumois of who you went out to dinner with, but we're not getting it straight from you.
You don't know what we talked about, who we gossiped about,
Exactly.
who we ran into.
And in the intro, you kind of tease like, am I doing this again where I'm talking about like, are people gonna get mad at me? Like,
I know.
what's the line? Like, where do you say, oh, this will be okay and this won't?
Well, I'm figuring it out right now because so now I've got Tamra texting me, who I said that we've had moments of sexual chemistry. And so she's sending me all these really funny texts. And I'm going to LA in a day, and I know I'm going to see her and we're going to have to talk about it. And I was thinking, why did I write that in there? And I think, well, she's shown me her boobs a couple times. So then, it's been presented to me. And then Teresa was just on Watch What Happens Live, and she's like, I need to talk to you about what's in the book. I had someone text me who I went on a date with last fall who wanted to talk to me about what I wrote in there about something that happened on the date. So now is kind of the reckoning for me where I'm figuring out, I'm waiting. I sent Sarah Jessica a copy of the book. I haven't heard back from her yet. John Hickey, who's an actor who's a good friend of mine, who's in the book a lot. And he and I are bickering throughout the book. And so I just got his feedback. So now is my reckoning where I'm getting everyone's response.
Nobody gets it before it comes out.
Yes. Some people did get it. I sent it to Lisa Rinna the week before it came out. I sent it to Kelly Ripa got it before it came out. Sarah Jessica got it before it came out, but she's so busy she hasn't gotten to it yet. So yes, some people do get it beforehand.
Now, I think that it's so great because, you know, you have people on your show and they open up to you and you kind of dig into their life.
Yes.
At least you are giving something of your life as well.
Well,
you know, you're giving and taking.
Yes, exactly. I feel like if I'm going to do this, I have to really do it. And I can't be the asshole that expects other people to answer my prying questions, but I don't deliver. So I'm certainly more vulnerable than I ever am on television or radio in this book about being a dad and insecurities that I have and about insecurities in life and things, you know, concerns that I have about I will say things on the show and then that night I'll text my executive producer and say, was that really pervy what I said? You know, there are a lot of moments like that. Yes.
So you mentioned that you started the book with New Year's Eve and you also end the book with New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
Now this New Year's Eve was a bit different because you guys weren't drinking and people were upset about that as much. Because people loved that you were having a great time and having so much fun. And I think a little wrinkle from this year as well was like, oh, are we having a little beef between hosts? Something came up between you and Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, Seacrest was coming after me before New Year's. First of all, he said, well, I think it's a good idea that they don't drink, which was an opinion shared by no one, I might add.
Besides him.
Right. Yeah, no, he picked a couple fights with me towards the end of the year. Yeah, and that's another thing that happens in the book. And if I was writing one this year, I would include my public feud with Howie Mandel.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I seem to always be in a public feud with someone from Snooki.
Keeps you alive.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Keeps me going. It's
what happened with
content.
Snooki? I got into a fight with the Jersey Shore cast too.
Snooki, in the book, I guess I said offhandedly somewhere that I didn't think it would be, you know, I couldn't see her on the Housewives of Jersey
And
just because it seems like
she
two
always
different
wanted
shows.
to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but then she you know, it just becomes a war of the words.
Well, I also think with New Year's Eve, people love seeing you and Anderson together are so funny, and people are so used to seeing Anderson in such a cleaned up, tight way. You know, he's
they
the
like
news.
to see me get him drunk, and he's such a
getting
lightweight.
him a little drunk, he starts giggling, he's laughing at everything. It's great. It's great TV. So, you know, I don't know what
I'm hoping for the best.
was
I'm
thinking.
hoping for the best.
What's the plan for this year?
Well, I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah,
maybe you can meet somewhere in the middle.
I might just have to go rogue. Like if they say no, I mean, what are they going to do? Pull me off?
No.
Yes.
They know
They
you're
won't.
bringing in the viewers.
Well, I think Anderson and I together
We can
are
be
a great
cocky
duo.
for you.
You are.
Thank you. I think we're
are.
a great duo.
Yes, you are.
You absolutely are.
Now you are, you know, we see in your book that you're a busy man, but you are probably even busier than ever right now with everything that's going on. And not only just Vanderpump, but we also have Real Housewives of New Jersey drama that is kind of just like flying under the radar because of everything that's happening with
I do think it
Right.
would be so much bigger if the Vanderpump finale, like going Real Housewives of New Jersey finale into Vanderpump finale, is such back-to-back chaos.
I know,
but the
it's
Vanderpump
true.
is just overshooting it when the New Jersey stuff is crazy.
What did you ladies think about the Vanderpump finale? It
My
delivered.
jaw was on the floor.
Yeah.
She has a screw loose. Like something is happening. The scene of her and Tom
Sandoval,
Sandoval in her apartment, I could not believe how she was behaving.
I actually didn't speak for an hour after watching. I watched it with my boyfriend and I was like, I just need to digest this. Like, this is actually insane. Now, what I found to be the most shocking, and I'm sure you found it shocking as well, and I have a question about Lisa Vanderpump, right? Because you're watching the finale and you are like, holy shit, I am so sickened by everything that's happening. They both belong in a home. Like that was my takeaway with them. And then you see Lisa have sort of some compassion for Tom. Yeah. Now, why do you think that is?
I think Lisa is able to see this from a aerial view and not get kind of I think she's just able to she is not involved in the same way that they all are as a group of friends. She is, and she's also in business with Tom.
Yep.
And I think she has a very British way of looking at it. And, you know, and I think and I think that explains a lot, by the way, the kind of British sensibility.
Yeah.
And I think her position from the beginning has been, listen, they had an affair. They didn't kill, and no one got killed, whatever. It's a horrible thing. And she does have great compassion for Ariana. I know that she does. We've spoken about it. But I think that and I know that she's against kind of the mob mentality coming against someone. So I just think that's what her POV is.
Yeah. I almost think she is like a mother figure to the Toms.
Yeah.
And, your mom, no matter what you do.
Just to love everybody.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the other thing. I mean, Tom and I are both from St. Louis. We go back. People from St. Louis kind of bond with each other. So, I look at him and I'm like, you did something really horrible to someone so lovely. I don't understand how he could do it. I also saw him at the reunion and he was shaking the whole time. He was shaking during our one-on-one. He came across to me as a very broken human being. So, which many would say, well, good, he should be, but he is, so everyone knows.
And it's a hard focus too, because from just the finale, I don't know if it was still just he was uncomfortable speaking directly with Ariana because of course she was so upset.
Right.
But he came off being so
Not
much
good.
more remorseful to Schwartz and
Right,
to Lisa
yes,
than to
yes.
Ariana. Like he walked into
Absolutely.
that room with Tom Schwartz and hugged him. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
Lisa, he had a breakdown, but with Ariana, it didn't feel like he really I would think with her, that's the one you break down crying
Very
and
good.
apologizing
And
to.
he said, if she just followed me when I said I was going to Schwartz, and I actually was like, wow, Schwartz finally said something to stand up for a little bit, where he
Right.
was like, you can't put that on Ariana.
Yeah, it's not her job to follow you thinking that you're having an affair.
Right, it's not her job to find out
Right, yes.
that. It was, I didn't
that was a crazy
think,
line. If she just followed me,
Right.
she would know I wasn't where I was going.
And they've all have spoken on many podcasts at this point, so you thought that you got all the information that you could get.
No.
I didn't think it was going to get worse. And then I watched the finale and I was like, oh my gosh, they are going to be even more hated than they were
Wait
before.
until you see the reunion. Regarding Raquel, there's a thought that I've been having recently, which is that think of her journey on the show. She was barely on the show. Was it maybe 2 seasons ago or more? She was having a puppy party to kind of, that was her first kind of event that she was having on the show. She was very upset because none of the girls wanted to come. They're like, we're not coming to your effing puppy party.
Yeah.
And think about this. Now it is 2022, which is when the show was shot. She's now somehow got the attention of the two principals on the show, two of the principals, Sandoval and Schwartz, who are both paying her all this attention. And she's got Katie and Lala and Ariana, and Sheena, who are all kind of, she's in the mix in a very big way. So is there a part of you that could consider that maybe she became intoxicated by now being a principal on this show and being considered as such? She's, it's not like, are we miking Raquel? It's, oh, here's Raquel, let's all pay attention. Yeah. She got a lot of attention. Maybe she became intoxicated by being such a part of the show.
Right.
And maybe that made her lose her sense of herself.
Yeah, and I think what Ariana said in the finale kind of goes along with that.
Yeah,
where
I
she
think
said
Katie and Lala
she's
agreed with that
looking
too.
for identification in a man.
Yeah.
And I feel like what you just said, where she's becoming intoxicated by this group, she's looking for a sense of identity within the group and being a fan of the show.
I think
she was being a fan of the show.
Being
People are paying attention to her. People are feeling bad for her because of James.
Yes.
And, when we had her and Sheena on, we were talking to them and, we felt bad for Raquel. We were like, wow, she's so timid.
We prefaced our whole episode with take it easy on her. I think this is a lot for her because she was shaking when she was
clearly
speaking
going
to
through
us.
stuff. She went stuff with James, and I was like, wow, that's so messed up that James cheated on you like that.
Right.
Meanwhile, she's sitting there holding in this secret on her shoulders that I just cannot imagine how you can live day to day looking
Now,
Ariana
you have a
in the
lightning
face.
bolt tattoo on your wrist. Are
I know.
you
Well,
in
I know. We
have
both do.
matching.
You all have
I know.
them?
We got this in 2000.
This is our thing. Yes,
it's-
unfortunately.
It is unfortunate, and people have told us we
Are
need
you
to
in a
get rid
quad
of
with Tom and Raquel?
People have said we need to get rid of them, but I'm
no.
not Pete Davidson.
all
I
good.
cannot. I'm not paying.
No,
for
we
it.
would like our
by the way, I
we
love
would
a
like
lightning
our-
bolt. It's also
Yes.
kind of a deadhead symbol
Totally.
too. So
Yeah.
We would like
I'm
our
down with
Friday
it.
energy is really like our vibe. And
Yes.
we started our show by saying we would put episodes out on Mondays that we recorded on Friday. We'd say we're giving you that Friday energy on a Monday.
I love it.
So we took Friday energy, the lightning bolt
Yep.
match, and then we got matching tattoos.
Years ago, and now Sandoval and Raquel have
And
taken
then they
it.
ruined it for us.
Yes.
Scumbags.
It's okay. Take it back. Own it.
For New Jersey, though, you just had Teresa on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
The finale has aired. Everyone keeps alluding to the reunion as kind of just sad, sort of.
Well, I mean, it was very combative.
Yeah.
I showed my team at Watch What Happens Live the super tease for the reunion last night before the show, and their mouths were on the floor. It's super dramatic because there's a lot about Louis that comes out at the reunion, and there's a big conversation about this Bo Dietl private investigator. Does he have information on everyone? And he was dodging it at Watch What Happens Live last night and said, no, he just made it up. It came out of thin air.
And Teresa said she could defend it in the game.
Contradicted herself.
Yes.
And I'm here to tell you that that was not his story at the reunion. It was far different, and we really got into it, and it's a major point of contention.
Now we have
I get the
always
heebie-jeebies from him.
We have
I'm
always raised our eyebrows at Louis, and I
do.
think one of the biggest things was this season, which we thought was hysterical, was when Louis looked at Joe Gorga
The pajamas.
and said,
Yes.
"I wear your father's
And
pajamas."
And he doubled down on that too.
Doubled down on that on Watch What Happens Live.
He said
at
it was
the
endearing.
reunion, but then at the reunion said something different. That was a pair of wrap pajamas. He never actually wore them.
Incredibly creepy.
Sometimes I just think that they don't get their story straight. That's just my personal opinion. And sometimes like they're looking at each other like, wait, we didn't say we were going to say that.
Like
now
Tom
you
and Tom.
said it. And
Right.
yeah, exactly. Now, Teresa and Melissa, the finale ended in such a dramatic way, and we know they didn't go to the wedding. I know this is the question you're asking everybody, but do you think they can come back from this, or do they just have to?
I kind of think they're done.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have some thoughts about what I think may be coming up for them that I won't share here, but and you know, we will see.
Do you love aviators but hate how they always get tangled in your hair? Shady Rays has these super cute new tangle-free aviators, and seriously, it's pretty amazing. You can get the classic aviator look without the messy hair because of their custom patent-pending nose piece that they designed specifically to avoid tangling. You can have the same classic aviator and be able to put them on your head with no problem. These frames are seriously lightweight but also feel very high-end. Plus, Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. There's absolutely no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. If you don't love your pair, you can exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com/tangle-free with code CHICKS for 30% off their best-selling tangle-free aviator and much more. Save before they sell out and try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
Do you believe the rumor about Melissa?
I don't. They all seem to really discount it, including Teresa, by the way.
Yeah.
So, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Do you think, I felt like...
They seem pretty in love, I have to say.
Yeah, and-
but there you go. Kim and Croy seemed pretty in love, too.
Right.
so.
That was a shock too.
Yeah.
You talk about Jen Shah a little bit in your book
Yeah,
also, where
I do.
you're it's kind of like she's great TV, and what kind of went down between her sentencing? You did want to talk to her, and then it never came to fruition.
It never came to fruition. She released a statement that was not really true about what our negotiations were. I can't remember what she said. What she wanted was, I believe, for us to do a series. She wouldn't do the interview unless we did a series leading up to her going to jail and following her, which we kind of felt like we had seen. And also what I wanted was answers. I wanted her to, she had lied to me. She had lied to all of her friends. She had lied to everyone. So I wanted to talk to her about what really happened. And she didn't want to. So there you go. Yeah. I mean, maybe Howie Mandel would have given her a more safe space, you know.
What was your reaction when you saw Tom Sandoval was going on Howie Mandel's podcast?
I just thought it was just so surreal. I was like, what? But also I figured, and I surmised the next day, I said they must have a deal where I knew that Howie Mandel's niece or daughter's spouse was a bandmate of
somebody's in the extras.
was. So I just figured, okay, well, look, by the way, I had already sat down with Tom and did the confrontational interview with him. Yeah. So I figured, okay, he clearly has a deal with him where this is going to be a friendly space. Mm. And there was a part of me that just thought, okay, I was annoyed, but I also thought, okay, go do this, because I just didn't see it landing well. And I certainly didn't see him coming to the clubhouse landing well either. I wanted the reunion to speak for itself.
Yeah. Did you watch that interview with Howie and notice any differences between stories he told on the reunion?
I didn't watch it, to
you
tell
didn't
you
watch
the truth.
it?
I saw a couple of clips. I didn't watch it.
I was wondering if his story matches up, because I do feel like it has changed multiple times. Now,
it's evolved.
Yeah.
I think it's evolved, and you're going to hear more at the reunion on that score.
Yeah, and we saw that he admitted that he cheated before.
Yes.
Does that come out on the reunion?
Yeah.
The Summer House season also is just wrapping up. We're getting that reunion soon. How did you feel about the end of, I feel like a lot of these seasons across the board had like end of relationships or friendships. Like,
well,
things
watch
like
the reunion for that.
Okay, for Lindsay and Danielle.
Yes, there's much to report about the two of them at the reunion.
Okay.
And I think that I'm not an EP of Summer House. I have nothing to do with it except as a fan. But I think that I think there's a good plan in place for next season, and I'm excited about that. And I'm very excited about Summer House Martha's Vineyard. I don't know if you've seen that show.
I've watched the first episode.
Yeah, it's really good. And we're having some of those folks in the clubhouse. And I'm excited about that show.
I'm a Martha's Vineyard
they
gal.
nailed it.
So
I'm
excited.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And I think, of course,
very attractive cast.
We get attached to the OG shows and the cast, but it's fun to change it up every once in a while.
Well, it is, and that's a familiar format, but with different people, and it just makes sense all the way around.
Yeah, definitely.
That's exciting.
We have a little game. We want to do a little Would You Rather Bravo edition.
Great.
So, Rhea, you want to kick it off with the first one?
I shall. All right, first one. Would you rather officiate Carl and Lindsay's wedding or Craig and Paige's wedding?
Hypothetical. For
hypothetical,
Paige and
because we don't.
Oh
And we love Craig and Paige.
It depends where they are. I mean, well, that's really
You
hard.
offered Craig. You offered Carl and Lindsay.
I did in the book.
Yeah.
I did. There's so much Bravo gossip in the book. I would say, okay, I'm going to go by seniority. I've known Craig longer.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Craig because I've known him longer.
Okay.
Okay.
We're big Craig fans.
You want me to do the next one? Okay. If you had to pick, would you rather have Teresa continue on Real Housewives of New Jersey or Melissa continue on Real Housewives of New Jersey?
Keep watching.
Ooh. All right. Seems like we get an answer to that.
Yeah.
Would you rather be stuck on an elevator with Raquel or Tom Sandoval?
Oh, wow. I think Sandoval. Again, I've known him longer. St. Louis.
Yeah.
More to talk about.
At least you can talk about baseball while you're stuck in that elevator.
Seriously.
And maybe you can really get to the root of things if you got stuck on an elevator with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you rather completely revamp and recast Summer House in the Hamptons or Southern Charm?
I wouldn't want to recast either of them. I think they're both
You think they're
great.
good? There's been a lot of complaints, not complaints, but people think Summer House, and I know you've had podcasters and Bravo fans on your show talk about that.
That's why
Summer House has gone a little stale.
There's a plan in place, and I think it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather resurrect and erase all the problems between Tom Schwartz and Katie or Tom Sandoval and Ariana? Which couple would you rather still have
I don't
intact?
want to see either of those couples back together because they were both not meant to be.
Yeah.
Even if everything erased?
Yes.
Just
I do kind of agree
and
with
you know
that.
what? I think
I
when
mean,
you go
maybe
back
early Sandoval and Ariana, they were so in love. They were fresh. It was sweet. It was very sweet. I loved it that he called her Dumpling.
Yeah.
But you know, Katie and Schwartz just seemed like they were fighting from the start.
Yeah, if you go back and watch the episodes now, it's like,
it's
how
bad.
did they get married?
It's crazy.
Would you rather bring back Lisa Rinna or Lisa Vanderpump to Beverly Hills?
Oh, that's a good question. Wow. You know, it's hard because they both give something different. Oh, I mean, I can see universes for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Vanderpump ever would come back. She's hung up on, I mean, you know, part of the thing that makes Housewives work is their ability to forgive people for things and move forward.
Yeah.
And Vanderpump just isn't willing to, you know, get over certain things that in my mind are kind of,
It's crazy.
She can get them over.
Can't get
for
over
other
Puppy
people.
Gate.
yeah, exactly.
She can
that's a
forgive
good-
other
yeah,
people,
right.
like
Yeah,
for
you're
Tom and
right.
Ariana, but for
Wow,
herself.
that's an interesting point.
That is tough. But no, there's been a lot of
Now with
questions with
Rinna,
that.
do you see a future where she comes back? She's on pause right now.
I hope so.
She quit
I
and then
hope so.
took it back.
I hope so. I think she says she's done.
Yeah.
And I totally respect that. And, you know, I would love, you know, in a couple of years to, you know, I'm a big soap opera fan. So I always love it when favorite characters from the past.
You touch on it a little in the book, but now when the family dynamics come into play,
That's
is
when it
that
gets
hard
tough.
for you?
And I think that's
with
why-
the Hilton, you know,
Yes.
with Kathy and Kyle.
I was sitting there at that reunion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of backstage stuff from Beverly Hills in the book. And I was sitting there at the reunion and Kyle and Kathy were in such disarray and Rinna was there, you know, just shooting daggers at Kathy, the two of them going at each other. And I remember Garcelle looking at me like, what is going on right now? Like, this is too upsetting for words. And it was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's different when friends are fighting, but when family, you're like, they are blood.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Outside of the Bravo world, you talk about plenty of your famous friends.
Yep.
John Mayer being a big one.
Mayer is in, I mean, if you're a John Mayer fan, I would say this
Our producer
book,
is the number one
okay,
fan.
well, I would say this book is for you, dude, because there's so much Mayer stuff in the book. I mean,
How was it having him do the Walk of the Star for you, Walk of Fame?
it was unbelievable. I will say one thing about John Mayer. He is the most loyal friend that you can't believe. I just am stunned by his loyalty, his kindness towards me, the texts I get from him, appreciating our friendship. Last Saturday, I was on my book tour. I FaceTimed him. I was in Boston. I was feeling a certain way. He goes, hey, what's up? I go, you know what? I just need a friend right now. I need you. We had a 15-minute chat. And by the end, I was full of happiness. I was like, thank you. This was what I needed. So the Hollywood Star, I had Rinna and Garcelle spoke. They spoke representing the Housewives. And then John Mayer spoke. And it's on YouTube. I am not ashamed to tell you that when I've been down, I have put it on because
it's a great pump up.
For me, it was like being at my own funeral in a weird way and seeing if John Mayer got up to eulogize me at my funeral. That's what it felt like. He took such care. He's such a great writer, as we all know, of music. But that speech blew me away.
That was kind of like when I saw Christina Applegate's star and Linda Cardellini spoke. And that brought me to tears because I was like, I'm so happy she's getting to hear this before, because she's sick. And I'm like, the fact that she gets to hear her friend talk about this right now.
Absolutely.
But with John, that is so awesome. You guys have that friendship. And I think when you get to hear him speak, besides his music, that's fascinating and fantastic. I was such a big fan of Current Mood, the show that he did on Instagram, because it was like Sunday night. you're going into the week,
yes.
and you just get this pick-me-up.
Yeah.
I was very sad when it ended, but I was like, well,
know.
you like get in a trance when he's talking to you.
100%. He's a great linguist.
He is.
Yep.
To wrap it up, of course, it's called the Daddy Diaries. So how your son Ben just has these incredible, I feel like, one-liners, even just the stuff you post on your Instagram where you're like, I can't eat the last bite of your food. And you can just hear him in the back. It's so entertaining. But kids, I feel like you could probably write a whole book of just things that he says.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, he's so funny, and he's I try to pepper this with funny stuff between the two of us. And there was a moment where this summer that stands out, where I have a music channel on Sirius XM. I have a talk channel, Radio Andy, and a music channel that I program called Andy's Kiki Lounge. And I play the Kiki Lounge all the time at home. And this summer I had it on at the pool all summer long. And I keep saying, hey, this is Andy and this is my Kiki Lounge. One day he turned to me, he goes, are you Andy Cohen? I said, yeah. And I kind of laughed, and he started, and then he would be like, come on, Andy Cohen. Come on. We were at the playground one day, and some dad said, what's your name?
Oh,
he
this
said,
is my favorite.
I'm Ben. He goes, that's Andy Cohen.
I think that was
So
my
funny.
favorite story
Yeah.
of in
love
the book
that.
of that is so funny. Like, I'm Ben. That's Andy Cohen.
So funny.
It's not even like that. That's Dad. That's
It's
that's
a
Andy Cohen.
tagline.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
Andy Cohen.
Exactly.
which is
so
so
funny.
good. I had one final thing I wanted to. Oh, you kind of have like a back and forth with Howard Stern.
I do, yeah.
What is that current situation
Well,
like?
it's interesting. There's been new developments because I was in Miami helping Sirius open up new studios there. And I had John Bon Jovi on my show. Howard was also there. And Howard brought John Bon Jovi into his studio while I was live on the air waiting for John Bon Jovi, and I got pissed about it. And Howard called and apologized to me that night and was like, I feel bad and all this stuff. And I feel okay talking about it because he talked about it on his show. But I feel like we're good.
Currently good.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting back and forth, and that plays out through the book as
it's
well.
like kind of like, does he like me? Does he not?
I know, yeah, I can't figure it out.
Kind of big that he called. Usually some
Major.
people would just
Couldn't
go on,
believe
talk
it.
shit, and then go on with their day.
Could not believe it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Well,
Thanks for reading the book.
I loved it. Yeah, we're talking about it. It's great. And honestly, like getting that day in the it made me want to write down what I'm doing because sometimes you
Diary
think
format's
back,
really fun.
It's really like we do so many cool things and then we forget about
I had
them.
one when I first started. We worked in another office still at Barstool, and I started as an intern back in 2016, and I would write down what would happen to me every day.
Yes.
And then we moved offices, and I lost it. And I'm like, somebody
Terrible.
out there
Start again
is
because
reading.
you're
It
gonna
really did
also
make me
want
wanna start
it
again.
at some point
Right.
in the future.
Yep.
My first book is called Most Talkative, and I had written a diary my first year at CBS News, and when I was probably your age, and I was so grateful that I had it because there were details in there that I never would have remembered in a million years. So do it.
Exactly.
You always think it's too late, but it's not.
I know,
Like,
it's not.
It really made me want to go back and do that. So, Andy, thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you so
This was so
much.
great. Hopefully, you get through this post-publication period. Nobody
Yes.
gets too angry.
I know,
Nobody
we'll
gets
see.
hurt.
By the way, I doubt Teresa read the book. I feel like she just
Well,
got told
that was
she
a question.
All right. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you so
Everyone
much, and
can
everybody
get the Daddy
go get
Diaries.
the Daddy Diaries.
Anywhere you read books. You do Audible? Can you
I
listen
do,
to it?
yes, you
Perfect.
can.
I feel like people who love listening to your voice, that's the right choice.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anywhere you get books. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
That wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. We got that episode to you early. Schedule's been all over the place, but we will be back on Monday. We love you guys.